We also had to bring to you some outrageous propaganda courtesy of CNN. You know, I really wish they would stop saying this stuff so we could stop talking about it. But as you guys know, October 7th, as we just discussed, there were genuine war crimes, atrocities, massacres, which were committed. However, there were also incidents that the Israeli government promoted that turned out to be lies. There were the beheaded babies. There was the baby cut out of the woman's stomach, et cetera, okay? And among what appears to be those fabricated tales was the story of mass rape as a weapon of war used by Hamas on October 7th. Now, this is not my words. This is now the indications of that Times of London report that I brought to you. This is what Pramila Patten at the UN, this is what she said. The recent UN report that came out also confirmed that while there was there are indications of gender-based violence, the allegations of rape, mass rape, rape as a weapon of war are unfounded, unproven at this point, lacking evidence, okay? Now, you would think that would be important to a news organization, but if it's CNN or really any other of them, it's not. So you have Dana Bash setting up a segment with Debbie Wasserman Schultz in which she proceeds to lie about seeing photos that do not exist in service of promoting a Kamala Harris propaganda press conference about similar content. So let's take a listen to the segment and we can react on the other side.
What's worse, to get kidnapped, to be raped, or to get shot? That is a quote from Tali Biner. It's what she said she was asking herself amid the chaos at the Nova Music Festival in Israel on October 7th. And she was a lucky one. She was able to hide from Hamas terrorists as they raped and slaughtered scores of people attending the festival to listen to music and to promote peace. More than 200 civilians were taken hostage that day, including women brought into Gaza and sexually assaulted.
Hamas used sexual violence and continues to use it as a weapon of war, is violating women, Israeli women, and I hosted a forum with the second gentleman on Capitol Hill a few months ago, and the Israeli police came and showed us videos that were taken by Hamas terrorists themselves, engaging in the kind of sexual violence that Cheryl's film shows, cutting off the breasts while raping their victims, and firsthand accounts from first responders, as well as others and Israelis who were hiding from Hamas terrorists. And the denialism is outrageous.
Yeah,
we have to make sure that we knock it down.
So CNN should retract and apologize for this segment because those videos do not exist. The Congresswoman is lying. And again, this is not my words. I'm reading from the Pramila Patten, UN Special Representative, Sexual Violence and Conflict report. She says the mission team, specifically the forensic pathologist, the digital analyst, reviewed over 5,000 photos, around 50 hours, and several audio files of footage of the attacks provided by various state agencies through an independent online review of various open sources to identify potential instances and indications of conflict-related sexual violence. She goes on to say, while the mission team reviewed that extensive digital material depicting a range of egregious violations, no digital evidence specifically depicting acts of sexual violence was found in open source. No, the videos that DWS is claiming to see, that, by the way, Joe Biden has claimed the same thing also, they do not exist. According to the UN, according to the Times of London, according to independent researchers, they do not exist, okay? So, again, there is a reason why they persist with this, and because they're seeking to justify the atrocities they are committing in Gaza by pointing to these atrocities that they have invented. And again, there were atrocities on October 7th. I am not denying that, but I also require facts and evidence to understand what actually happened on that day, and do not want to see a genocide justified by DWS and Joe Biden and CNN and others based on videos that they invented in their minds. So, at a certain point, Saagar, obviously they're railing against the denialists, et cetera. I'm sure they put me in that camp, even though, again, I'm just looking at the evidence that's been presented. And by the way, let me make a distinction here too. There have been hostages who've been released, at least one who has directly testified to sexual assault while she's being held hostage. I think we should all take that very seriously, okay? The allegation, though, that there was systematic weapon of war, mass rape deployed on October 7th has not been supported. And if the Israeli government has such evidence, if they believe that that actually occurred, they should cooperate with the full independent investigation, which they have completely rejected and failed to do. The last thing I'll say, I'll get your reaction, is, of course, we also can't take seriously that these people actually, including Kamala Harris at her event that she just did, which screened the Sheryl Sandberg agitprop documentary, quote unquote, about this as well, that they actually care about sexual violence in any context, let alone in the context of war, is because we do have evidence that there has been a persistent pattern of sexual violence committed against Palestinian hostages or prisoners or detainees, whatever you want to call them. None of them ever says a word about that, nor do they care about it. So this is all for blatant propaganda purposes, which is why it irritates me so much.
Yeah, and it should. And now we've got Kamala Harris jumping in. Let's put this up there on the screen. Kamala Harris is launching initiatives to provide support for, quote, sexual violence survivors, launching Dignity in Documentation initiative addressing global conflict-related sexual violence and supporting them through UN efforts and leadership programs, but pegging it specifically to October 7th and after a partial screening of, quote, Sheryl Sandberg's documentary film, Screams Before Silence. So, yeah.
And also from Kamala, not a word at this event is not supposed to just be about Israel.
Right.
She mentioned, and again, also without evidence, that Hamas had committed rape and gang rape at the Nova Music Festival. Again, there is no evidence, according to the UN, no evidence to back up those claims. She claims that this event is about conflict-related, gender-based violence everywhere. Not one mention of the confirmed reports with regards to Palestinians. So obviously you can't take these people seriously in their supposed care and concern and desire for accountability whatsoever. It's purely for their own naked propaganda purposes, and it's frankly disgusting.
There you go. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.